Hello. Today we are having next interview for Human Brain Expert, and we are talking to co-founder, and ACO of Virtually. His name is Amir, and he is working on a very amazing things at bleeding edge of neurophysiological therapies, and they're very connected to VR. Can you please explain to us what exactly your product about and how it mean to cure disease?
Yeah, thank you for having me. We started about 4 years ago with the mission to democratize access to the bleeding edge of neuropsychological tools out there so that people with cognitive disorders like ADHD, when people are receiving chemotherapy treatment, they get memory fog. When people have COVID, we see about a certain percentage of people have cognitive impairments. They can't think as well, remember as well. Any type of
Mm-hmm.
condition in which we have a cognitive disorder, when we don't feel like mentally wise we're performing at our best. Our tools we've created in the last 3 years, especially, consist of our first product, which is called Enhanced VR. It's traditionally what you would call a brain training app, but in the sense of
Mm-hmm.
virtual reality, it's a library of cognitive exercises that tests and trains a range of cognitive abilities like your problem solving and information processing and your but because of virtual reality and its embodiment, we
Mm-hmm.
can also be able to cover areas like motor skills and spatial orientation. The point is, can these games help us better understand our cognitive performance ourselves? And
Mm-hmm.
can they potentially even be a therapy to address conditions like ADHD?
Data. What kind of data? It's very interesting. What kind of data you guys capturing? As an
It's my
example.
favorite. It's my favorite
Mm-hmm.
subject. It's a good subject to make someone fall asleep in some context or get someone really excited if they're really into this kind of content. The data collection, and I understand the concern about data being
Mm-hmm.
something that have a double-edged sword. On our end, we're all about research, the positive sides of the double-edged sword, but then the misuse of so many companies to exploit that data. It's a legitimate concern that really hurts companies like us that are using it only for really good causes. We have created a very sophisticated data infrastructure, scalable, that collects not only the psychometric data from the content, but also the postural data, the gesticulation of the arms data, the being able to detect even tremors in the hands or trembling of the knees. And in fact, I think we're the only one in our area of specialty that also collects biosensors like pupil dilation tracking, heart rate variability, skin conductivity through the
Mm-hmm.
HP Omniset device. And we have an
Wow.
AI
Mm-hmm.
learning algorithm that takes those biosensors and calculates your cognitive load in real time. So we know whether the user
Second
is
cognitive. Second cognitive. What?
cognitive
The last
load.
one. Cognitive
So
load.
you're
Okay.
so you're like
VCR.
we know if you're focused, we know if you're bored,
Uh
out of your
huh.
mind. And so
Mm-hmm.
we have three dimensions of data: physical, postural, psychometric, as well as physiological. And we have AI learning algorithms, at least one right now running, to take that data and make meaning of it. So it's about 250,000 data points every 2-3 minutes. It's a gold mine for feeding the next generation of digital biomarkers that could, let's say, detect that someone is starting to go down a road that might give them might make sense for them to go talk to a neurologist. Maybe there's some symptom, there's some patterns being detected in the subtlety of
Mm-hmm.
that big data that only virtual reality is able to collect in one system, in order to create AI learning algorithms that could detect Alzheimer's disease 20 years before it ever hits. Of course, we know there's so many other types of biomarker companies, but we're we're the least invasive and we're the most accessible. And it's all about your body and your performance speaking to something that I think the data can help us and inform us.
Yes, absolutely amazing. The thing is, I just recently found one research, and it has a lot to do with like our cognitive abilities, very related to our physiological activities, the way how we use our body a lot, and it's very interesting. It's very fascinating subject matter, and I absolutely believe that. that actually can help. So tell me a little bit, are you available? So as I understood, your product's already available, right?
Yes, we have 50,000 early registered users on the B2C store. It's a free app for them, and we have an enterprise platform that we that serves as a basis of our business model to partners like Roche.
So the question is, do you qualify your users? Do you provide specific tests for them, like to basically somehow recommend specific product, or absolutely any person without any specific um, diagnosis can use your product?
No, our tool on the B2C market is
Mm-hmm.
without any medical claims. It's really a tool
Mm-hmm.
of neuropsychological exercises. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a medical tool for the B2C user. It's basically games to give them a score on a specific cognitive function, and we give them data across 22 different cognitive areas, so people can see where they're strong, where they're weak, and they get a lot of self-knowledge about understanding what that might say about how they interact with the world, and perhaps it can inform them indirectly to tell them, let's say if you have low spatial orientation skills like I do, then you know that in the world you need to maybe start doing some drawing classes or something, work on your spatial orientation skills, because the games are showing that you have a low scores there.
I know that you guys collaborating with a lot of like medical centers, and the question is, did you do any clinical studies to a particular, to a particular disease? For example, ADHD.
So we've done one ADHD. You have to remember we're just 1 year of going commercial. So we're working with pilots with MIT, with Roche. Roche is doing a study right now in Portugal focused on Alzheimer's disease. That will take years to unlock what kind of findings we show there. An ADHD pilot was run last summer with an institute in Porto, in Portugal, and we found that we increased processing speed significantly in a population of university students with attention deficit. So it's very promising. We're going to publish the results of that pilot on the Frontiers of Virtual Reality journal, hopefully within the next few weeks.
Some of them is actually due to some disabilities. They simply are not able to understand, to simply use specific digital solutions. Do you address this type of issues for now, or
well, the thing about virtual reality is that it's literally the first embodied digital format. You pick up a glass in virtual reality the same way you pick up a glass as a human in real reality. So, in the cases of a smartphone, this is the alien technology. This is the one that you have to understand how to use. This is the one you have to create like a tutorial of how it works. In VR, if it's designed correctly and especially our creation cycle is based on accessibility design from the ground up. So we have, if the individual is colorblind, we have colorblind settings. If they need the font size to be increased, yes, all this is the first and foremost part of the design process. We ensure that the games adapt whether you're in a wheelchair or standing up.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I really
you so
appreciate
much.
it. Yes.